Okay, so today class we will going to have our discussion on the historical antecedents in the course of science and technology, specifically the Roman and Chinese civilization. By the end of the discussion, you should have first discussed interactions between science and technology and society throughout history, discussed how scientific and technological developments affect society and the environment, and lastly, identified the paradigm shifts in history. So, what is the Roman Empire? The ancient Rome grew from a small town on central Italy's Tiber River into an empire, credited for the emergence of Christianity as a major world religion, or those who believe to the teachings of Jesus Christ. Among the many legacies of Roman dominance are the widespread use of the Romance languages such as Italian, French, Spanish, Portuguese, and Romanian, derived from Latin, the modern Western alphabet. So, a very rich cultural influence and on religion. It is perceived to be the strongest political and social entity in the West. 4. So based from the map, you can see the greatest extent of the Roman Empire surrounding the Mediterranean Sea or mostly of the European countries today. Aside from their contributions in politics, a lot of discoveries and inventions that are still relevant today can be attributed to them. Also, they are the cradle of politics and governance during that period. Um, a distinct contribution of the Roman civilization, early Roman civilization, is the use of newspaper. One of the major contributions of the Romans is the newspaper. Julius Caesar, an emperor, had a newspaper. It was called the Acta Diurna, which means daily acts. It contains announcements from Roman Empire to the people, such as uh, ordinances, memorandum, laws, and articles. Originally engraved in metal or stone tablets until the paper was invented. So upon the invention of paper, um, it is now circulated using it is called the Acta Diurna or the newspaper. When paper was invented, it became easier from the Romans to publish matters important to the attention of Roman citizens. Romans enjoyed easy access to government information as the way we enjoy from present-day newspapers. Before the digitalization period, so we still buy newspapers to access current events, current happenings in our place, but now to the use of internet, okay, we can easily access information in the internet. Bound books or codex. Since the invention of paper, writing became easier for Romans, for record keeping, for journals, poetry, and other forms of literature. As a result, civilization became fond of record keeping, especially documenting historical events and newly legislated laws. So, Roman people on that period became engrossed on recording, on writing, etc. According to sources, Julius Caesar started the tradition of stacking up papyrus to form pages of book. So he's fond of compiling such as the illustration. So upon the introduction of paper, people became fond of writing, and as a process of documentation of preserving those notes, they use uh, methods on piling it or stacking it to form pages of book. Later on, they were able to provide covers to protect the papyrus. The earlier covers were made of wax, but were replaced by animal skin, which proved to be stronger and longer lasting. So this time, they are now learning how to bound books and how to preserve the content of the paper. Thus, the ancient Roman Empire was able to produce the first books, or called the Codex. Roman architecture is another remarkable influence of the Roman Empire. It is one of the most visual contributions of the ancient Roman Empire of the world. It was considered as continuation of Greek architecture, or the Greco uh, Romano influences. Hence, the resemblance, but Roman architecture was still regarded as pioneering because they are able to adopt new engineering technology. So, the Roman civilization uh, learned a lot of architectural uh, principles to the Greek civilization which they invaded, and they brought the knowledge to Rome, okay, to Italy, and there is a resemblance of the Roman and Greek, okay, Greco-Romano. Roman architecture. They were able to preserve great and elaborate architectural designs because they could produce sturdier and stronger infrastructures, and until now there are evidences of this kind of infrastructures at present. Okay, it adapted to the new trends of time. It was fully supported and funded by the Roman government. So the government support is strong, and that's the reason why there are a lot of projects, okay, buildings, and infrastructures during that time. It includes large churches such as cathedrals and basilicas, aqueducts, coliseums, amphitheaters, and even residential houses. So it's also one of the bucket list, tourism bucket list, okay, Italy, especially Rome, okay, because you can see really the grandest and vast infrastructures, okay, beautiful Roman architecture. The quality of Roman structures was tested by time and able to withstand the harsh elements, and skin can still be seen today. Yes, so there are still remnants. There are still physical evidences of the Roman architecture. Roman numerals. Okay, in mathematics, the Roman Empire was expanding. It had to deal with many nations to maintain its power. For this reason, the Romans devised their own number system specifically to address the need for standard counting method to meet their increasing communication and trade concerns. So I remember when we are still in elementary, we are learning the Roman numerals. Okay, we are using it as our number system, okay, and now we are using the Arabic, okay, although it is no longer used today because of inherent limitations. A quite number of enthusiasts would prefer because of its aesthetic and historical value. Just like at the top of our four pillars, St. Mary's University, we have the date, okay, of the foundation, okay, the foundation date of our school is written in Roman numerals. And there are other buildings, infrastructures that are using Roman numerals to indicate yun nga, yung foundation date. Roman aqueducts. The Roman aqueducts supplied fresh, clean water for baths, fountains, and drinking water for ordinary citizens. So it's just like transport of water. The most recognizable feature of Roman aqueducts may be bridges constructed using round stone arches. They were made from series of pipes, tunnels, canals, and bridges. Gravity and the natural slope of the land allowed aqueducts to channel water from fresh water source. So just like our present day water system, yan. So the use of pipes, but before they use aqueducts. So it's a remarkable and innovative way of transporting water to the uh, community. Okay, so that's the Roman civilization. Now let's go to the Chinese civilization. It is considered as the oldest civilization in Asia, if not the world. It is also known as the Middle Kingdom and located on far east of Asia. It was famous because of its silk trade. Few details were known about ancient China because of its distance from other civilizations, but significant contributions can be credited to them. Okay? What are these? So we have the use of silk. One of the things that connected Far East China to the world is silk. There is a so-called Silk Road that links this civilization to the western part. Although silk is naturally produced by silkworms, the Chinese were the one who developed the technology to produce and process it as paper and clothing. And until now, silk is a high value product that is coming from China. Tea production. Tea is a beverage produced by pouring hot or boiling water over crushed or shredded dried tea leaves. And yes, there is a beneficial medicinal value of tea drinking. It was believed that the first tea was drunk by a Chinese emperor. Tea production was developed when an unknown Chinese inventor created a tea shredding machine. So the tea plant, the leaves okay, are dried okay, or crushed. Then it is being boiled, and the result is used for yan, those who are having problems in digestion, yan, for in their diet, okay, and likewise. Because of this invention, Chinese were able to increase their production of tea and trade with other nations. So it became a high value product also from China. And yes, there are a lot of people who are fond of drinking tea uh, because of its medicinal property and benefit. Tea became one of the most popular beverages in the world today. And the innovation now is the milk tea. Yan. So those who are fond of drinking milk tea, yes, the origin of it, there's a content of tea and it came from China. And what else? The Great Wall of China. Yes, it's a remarkable engineering work or structure, considered as the only man-made structure that could be seen from outer space, specifically on the moon. It is said to be the largest, most expensive infrastructure and extensive engineering that the nation built. It was constructed to keep out foreign invaders such as the Mongols and to control the borders of China and continues to be a world attraction until today. Yes, so it's also a bucket list to those who are very fond of traveling, okay, to see the Great Wall of China. Gunpowder, one of the most interesting inventions, or the origin of violence, the origin of conflicts, okay? Interesting inventions of China. It was originally developed by a Chinese alchemist who aimed to achieve immortality. So, it's an accidental discovery, okay? He is discovering for the elixir, okay? The element for immortality. It's made of mixed charcoal, sulfur, and potassium nitrates that could generate large amount of heat and gas. Instead of having an elixir of life, gunpowder propelled weapons and came and also made also fireworks made of it. So, and until now, it is used for yon, for violence, okay, for protection, security, etc. And lastly, yan, we are done with Roman and Chinese civilization. Ponder on this. You can put your comment on the section on the comment section. What do you of our FB group? What do you think is the most important contribution of the Roman and Chinese civilization and why? Okay, so ponder on that question. So next meeting, we will have your first quiz. Kindly review introduction, the different ancient civilizations that we discussed. Okay, we have the Sumerian, Babylonian, Egyptian, Greek, and now we have the Roman and Chinese civilization. Okay, so quiz 1 on next meeting. Okay, about 30 points lang. And that's it. Thank you very much for listening. God bless.